he knows his name carries weight where they'll get him something. And I think what will be funny is how much different it will be compared to what, like you said, what the Cubs had offered him. Because I heard the same thing. They had offered him a 10-year deal. He turned it down. So how much more or less was that? And we're looking at the Mookie Betts thing here where they did offer him something, and now you look at the deal he got, and I mean, he for himself, he made the right deal. He's
for Mookie, it's a great deal. For the Dodgers, not so much.
Right? No, that's fine with me. I'm not a big. The Dodgers are just Red Sox West, so we're just going to keep pumping them the guys that we overpay to start with, and then throw them their way, and then they can deal with the trash afterwards.
To me, they can keep signing those 13-year deals, and
that's fine with me.
Enjoy the success for the next 5 years, and then have to rebuild.
They could pick up the Josh Beckett's and the and the David Prices and from us, and and the Red Sox. I mean,
God, what was that trade that worked out so well for the Red Sox? Where it was like you guys got 2 guys back for 5 All-Stars back in the day when you guys gave up.
It's when we got Beckett
Crawford
and
gave up Carl Crawford.
Yeah, everyone just said that he just had a hard time playing in Boston, which there is an aspect of. You got to have the right frame of mind to play in cities like New York and Boston and Chicago and everything like that. But that wasn't it. It's that case of when you're the best player on a bad team element. When he was down in Tampa Bay and he was hitting the lights off the ball, you got to have some skill, right? That just out of nowhere. But I remember when the Sox signed him, even Red Sox fans were like, trying to find a reason why I should be happy about this. I remember I was working for a sporting goods store in the Northeast. Olympia Sports dropped their name. They just went through a purchase, broke my heart. But I just remember fans coming in and going, normally when we'd sign a big guy or trade a guy, like when the Pats traded for Corey Dillon, I had a list, and I was in this 2 small stores in the New Hampshire area. Man, I had a list of like 160 people that wanted his jersey. Tell me when they come in. Here's the sizes. When Crawford got signed, I think there was like 3 people. And a lot of people are asking us, what do you think about that? I'm not sure. And so that was a big one for us in that aspect. But that seems to be – but unfortunately, it's going to be the case where I think the benefit for you in Chicago is that you can your team can evaluate it a little bit different. Unless the White Sox make a push and you've got that inner city rivalry where you got to be like, okay, we got to beat them out on getting these big guys – the Sox are always going to have to compete against the Yanks, which just sucks. It's just we have to try to get them before the Yanks do. And I hate that because the Yankees flat out overpay for everyone with the thought process.
I think that's more of a fan mentality. Isn't that more of a fan mentality than it is a ownership mentality? I think the ownership, I don't think they feel like they need to get somebody before another team gets them. Obviously, with teams within your division, you're always competing and you always want to land the big, but you want to land what fits your organization. I mean, you guys got Xander Bogaerts out there right now at shortstop. So if Javi Baez goes on the market, are you guys trying to fight him for the Yankees, even though shortstop's a filled-up position, just because you want to get that guy over the Yankees? It
depends on what Xander Bogaerts does. Right, what you just said. Let's say Xander goes out and just lays a huge goose egg and just shits all over the field in this short season. Yeah, the fans are going to call for his head, and they're going to want a better option, and that is the challenge even for anyone. That's why, when we won the World Series, what's-his-face went to Chicago, he probably has less stress dealing with making decisions out there, even though it's a big city, because you don't have that – because the fans are about to lynch us and burn the stadium to the ground, we need to do this to appease them. And they try to do their best to balance that with actually, making sure that it's the right talent. But, I mean, Crawford was a huge example of that. Price even it was a stretch. I think Price even went to his introduction meeting and said, hey, I know, some people already have questions about what I can do. Trust me, I'm here. I'm going to compete hard, and I'm going to show everyone what I'm about. He already knew that people were questioning like that. You really paid this much for this guy? They got to appease the fans, because when you have such a loyal fan base that's going to continue to go there and put money in your pockets and pay the prices of some place like Fenway Park or Yankee Stadium, you got to appease them at some point, because if they all leave, it's going to suck. It's really going to suck. So
right. All right. So we got some more comments rolling in. We got
What else do we got here?
Who do you guys think will get the MVP this year? Man, that's a good one. So let's do this. So Wayne on his show, he did a good thing where they were doing predictions for the NFL. I joined their show, and they did an MVP and they did an LVP, least valuable player. I think that was a little bit more fun. So I'll go first. I'll go first with my most valuable player.
Okay.
I think in the American League, my most valuable player is going to be Mike Trout. I mean, it's an obvious. I mean, the best player in baseball, and it's really hard to beat him out for an MVP. And I have them going to the World Series. I think he's going to have an outstanding 60-game stretch. It is going to be tough this year, though, with it only being a 60-game stretch, because there is going to be somebody that sneaks in there and just has a crazy 60-game stretch. There always is. There's going to be somebody who hits 400. There's going to be somebody who just does things that you've never seen before in a 60-game stretch. Happens every year. But in the NL, I'm going to go with Javi Baez. The Cubs, again, I have them in the World Series. I think Javier Baez is the best shortstop in baseball. That guy has hands and range for days, and he can just flat out hit. I love Javi Baez. I talk highly of him. I have him in my top 10 players in baseball. And to be honest with you, I think that Boston fans are going to hate me for this, and Chad Launder might take off his headset and walk away from the screen for a minute. But I did a blog a few months ago, and it was you
did a blog in the middle of COVID. No one gives a shit.
Top numbers of each player for each number 0 to 50, and I had, obviously your boy there, Ted Williams, at number 9. But I don't know, man. In 5-10 years, Javi Baez wears number 9, and he may take that from him. I ain't gonna lie. Wayne loves to get people going about Boston fans. He loves getting you guys going about.
Man, I really, man, I want to be more mad, but I still, we're only a week away from sitting here where I had to try to debate you on the fact that Jameis Winston was a top 10 NFL quarterback today. So yeah, I want to be mad at you, but I almost feel like it's wrong. It's kind of like, the kid that's going, got half a leg and he's trying to be on, he on the teeter totter or anything. You kick his leg out from it. Like, it'd just be rude. It'd be mean.
So,
I don't want it.
So I have Javi Baez and I have Mike Trout as my MVPs. Who's your MVPs?
So I'm going to go on the AL and just say it because it makes me sick to my stomach by Aaron Judge. There we go. If you need to go back and play and slow it down, I don't give two craps. But I don't. The reason why I think for he who shall not be named that will get it is because, as I said, they play in this wiffle ball, right? Freaking stadium. It's a glorified wiffle ball field, which already makes him look even bigger than he already is, which he's a beast. But I think there's going to be a lot of aspects with the fact that the National League will have the DH aspect and all the teams kind of playing on that field. And the mentality I think you're going to see as the season gets going, you're going to see runs up more, and the thought process is we got to out hit the other team. Like, pitching is going to be obviously very important, and I think it's going to make the good pitchers even look even more dominant. But runs are going to go up, and that's going to turn around and put the pressure on the teams for their big hitters. Say, hey, go out there and just absolutely every time. Don't try to hit up the middle. Try to hit up the middle 500 feet. Like, let's really try to do that. And I think Aaron just has that opportunity. He's a friggin' giant among boys. And then he's in I could build a wiffle ball field in my backyard and stand in it, and I would feel like how he stands in the middle of Yankee Stadium because that thing is a joke of a professional ball field. So I'm going to give it to him just on that. I think, obviously, New York, he's going to create excitement. I think they win the AL East. There's a lot of people would think that, the Yankees got screwed, and so he'll be the person that's driving that kind of, beating that drum or trash can in that aspect there. So what did Wayne say?
NL LVP Javier Baez, 250 tops, error.
And for my NL, it's going to go with my team that I have pick to win the whole thing. That's going to go all the way. I think they're going to face the Twins in the World Series, win it in 6. If you listen to our podcast, you know my pick there. It's the Braves. And I always pronounce his name wrong, but Ronald, how the hell do you pronounce his last name? Acuna Jr. Yeah, I just think, man, he was the NL rookie 2 years ago. 41 homers. He almost stole 40 bases. I mean, he's just continued to get upswing. And I know there's the aspect, you got Cody Bellinger, you got Mookie Betts now, and then all that, you got the stuff. Christian Yelich, who you bring up quite a bit in that aspect. I'm a Bryce Harper fan in the fact that I love the fact that everyone hates him, but I think he is that the haters are right. I don't think he's as good as people the people that love him make him out to be, including his mom and his dad. Yeah. Yep. So I don't think he's that, but I think it'll be Ronald. I think he gets it in the NL. I think he's going to just be a beast, and he's going to drive the Braves all the way through. So,
okay, it's not a bad one. So LVP in the American League, I am going to go with. Oh man, that's a good one. I think
this is an interesting category because what is it based on? It's based on people that have potential to be MVP and just crap the bed, or is it just straight up?
It's going to be the least valuable person to their team. For me, I always like to put up like a star who on a team that should make the playoffs but probably won't. Or
should have been even though we don't have an All-Star game, should have been an All-Star and won't.
So you might not like this one, but I'm gonna go with your boy Xander Bogaerts over there in Boston. I think Boston's gonna have a tough go of it. I don't think they have the pitching to stay in this division with Tampa, with the Yankees. I don't think that they're gonna get a wild card. I think they're gonna have a rough 60-game stretch, especially playing the NL and AL East. I mean, you have got some really good offenses in both of those divisions. And you're going to have to face them day in and day out. When you're not playing the Yankees, granted, you do have, Baltimore, but you still have to deal with Tampa. You still have to deal with Atlanta. You still have to deal with Washington. You still have to deal with Philly. And I just don't think they have the pitching to do it. And I think that's going to put a lot of weight on that offense's shoulders. And I don't think that Xander is going to have a very good 60-game stretch.
Okay. Well, I don't knock you for it. I don't think you'll be right. Not just because I'm a Sox fan, but because, his attitude this offseason has just been so fantastic. He's not we're going to come in and everything. He's just been very calm and collected, but very cool in saying, all right, we're the underdogs. That's fine with me. Yeah, I like being the underdog. That's okay. They can count us out this season. That's fine. He's taken on without shouting it to the mountaintops, he's taken on a very cool leadership role and just very directly with the press and just saying, that's fine. We're okay with it. We're okay. Which, in turn, he's turned around internally going, guys, they just don't think we got a chance. And that's a great dynamic for anyone to have. If you can walk into any game, any series, anything and say, no one thinks we have a chance. It gets, especially in sports, it gets you pumped up, right? It gets you energized and everything. And I think that's a big thing. And I think that's going to help him out. Is he going to have MVP numbers? No, but man, I'm going to put him as the LVP just because it sounds like the expectations are going higher than I think it's going too fast. And you're one of them. I don't think the White Sox are there yet. I think they've got some good stuff going. They're not there yet, and I think there's this grasp for, hey, this is the opportunity with 60-game season. And I think there's going to be too much put on Manny Machado. I really do. I think they're expecting him to break out, be a monster, and I think that pressure, he's not mentally built in that way. And with everyone almost kind of saying, hey, you can get there a year earlier than expected, I think that's going to put some uneasy tension on his shoulders. And I think he's going to he's not going to do horrible, but he's going to be nowhere near to the point where he should be. And I think that's going to give him the LVP for me in the AL. Again, this is a weird award because it's kind of like
you do realize. So I'm going to bring this up real quick because Wayne says Acuna is a great pick. At least one of you guys watches baseball, and I'm gonna combat that with this. At least one of us watches baseball, and he just picked Manny Machado to be his AL LVP for the White Sox, and Manny Machado definitely plays in San Diego with the Padres.
No, that's right. Machado. They wanted Machado. No, what's his face? See, I don't even give two craps. The kid in the White Sox. Whatever. I've got the Padres on my mind because they're going to do really, really good.
For the White Sox?
What?
You're talking about the shortstop for the White Sox, Tim Anderson?
No, not Tim Anderson.
Moncada?
He's not the one with the Moncada.
Yes.
Machado, Moncada, tomato, tomato. Okay.
All right. So
I was wrong. So I need to do that about 168 more times just to get to your Jameis Winston. Horrible take.
We'll talk about
and
that.
And then we'll be even there. So, but Moncada, we'll have. I just think it'll be too much. That's who I'm talking about. He's gonna. I just think he's not gonna want that pressure on him. I think if people would just relax and say, "Show us something good." Here, just show us some improvement and we'll be happy. And next year we'll go for it. I think he would do great. But I hear you're like the 10th person I've heard, like, I think they're going to be a year early. That's unnerving on a kid his age and someone that's not built mentally to go through that. He doesn't want to hear that.
That kid's a stud.
He doesn't want it.
That kid's a stud. He's a stud. They're ready. They're going to come up and they're going to sneak up on the Twins in this 60-game sprint. They may not overtake the Twins, but they're going to be there, and they're a good team. They're really I've got White Sox fans here that are listening, and I like to give them so much crap that I don't always give them praise. But the White Sox are ready. They're going to be fun to watch, and I think that they're poised to give the Twins a run for their money, and they may sneak out and win the AL Central. But keeping it moving, going into the NL for my least valuable player, I'm actually going to stay, and this is going to surprise you, I'm going to stay with the Cubs, and I am actually going to go with Chris Bryant.
Wow.
At the Cubs, we did our show. I picked the Cubs to win the World Series.
Interesting.
They have that, like I said, they're that AL team in the NL. They have that swag. They're ready. They want to win. But Bryant is heading into his contract year. He's going on a 60-game sprint. He's already complained about the testing. He's already complained about COVID. I think that he's just going to have a rough 60-game stretch. I think they have enough to carry him through that. Mm-hmm. I think they can still win with a subpar Chris Bryant. But that's where I'm going with my least valuable player is Chris Bryant in the National League. What about you?
Oh, I'm impressed with you. That'll be. I don't know though if it's least valuable because you've put everything on the Chicago Cubs way up here, and then you think he'll be like here, and so it's not impressive to you, and your NL MVP will be. No, I'm just kidding. But are we allowing pitchers in this aspect or no? Because the pitchers goes. Okay, so I think to me it's already started. And it's why I didn't even put them in the playoffs. I've told you over and over that it takes them too long to get going the last 2 years. It's going to be hard for them in a shortened season to catch back up. I don't care if they got Mookie. I don't think it'll be enough. Clayton Kershaw is going to be your LVP. Yeah. Like he's already, they now say he's on the IL. He is supposed to be everything to them. No matter how bad he even performs in the playoffs, they put it all on him. And I think he's a guy that actually can take that weight, but he just finds that way to choke. But we've started to see this the last couple seasons. He's getting hurt. He's getting dinged up. He's a big, tall, lanky guy. He doesn't seem to condition himself. The guy, and this is going to sound weird, but if you research Randy Johnson, he really tried to make sure he was really smart on planting and how he took care of his body and things like that to be smart because he was so tall. I don't think he does this. And we already see him now on the IL as of today, and they're going to expect him to come back. I wouldn't be shocked if he pitches a game or two and messes it up, and he's done. And that's going to kill them because what I told you about with the fact of Chris Sale already being on season-ending, I actually said as a Sox fan, thank God, because I got sick of them trying to bring him back, calling these guys from from Portland, and I'll get fly him in an hour before, and he just go out there and try to pitch, and then they lose a couple games and the rotation's off, and it was all about when do we get Chris Sale back, or can we get him back, or can we put him in a couple innings? It just messes everything. You mess the flow up all for one player. that's what's going to happen with the Dodgers this year, I think.
Yeah, and I it's funny too, is because we do our show every week. We've been recording, through audio, and I'll send you. I'll send you the rundown every Wednesday or Thursday so that you could do some research and we could do our notes and stuff like that. And when I talked about the MLB predictions, we didn't talk beforehand about who we were going to pick, and both of us had the Padres winning the NL West and sneaking in there. And
we don't agree on much, man, but I was pumped with that. I was like, oh man, I don't feel so stupid.
And not a lot of people are going to have that because a lot of people just can't see past how good that Dodgers offense is.
Right.
But when your offense is that good, that's great. But when an offense is pressed to score 5 to 6 runs a game, they're going to struggle. I saw it with the Cubs in 2017, 2018. When they struggled coming out of that World Series because their pitching staff was depleted, they were getting older, and they didn't have the pieces to come up. They've done a horrible job with drafting pitching here in Chicago. And I love Theo and Jed, but they've done a horrible job recouping the pitching in the minor leagues. And they had nobody to step up. And when they had nobody to step up, they were just – They weren't able to score runs. Yep. They were pressing so much that a team that is poised to score could average 11 runs a game. That's how good these lineups are. But when you're trying so hard and you have to put up 6 to 7 runs a game,
and you have to get out in front of the other team, you can't play from behind. Like you can't get stressed out about it, and that's what's going to happen. And what was crazy, I remember that because I'm a big John Lester fan. I told you, Johnny Moe up in Boston. We love that guy. But I remember where all of a sudden I kept seeing articles where it was like, can Johnny Molester, they didn't call him that. Can John Lester, can he step up in the way they need him and all this stuff? And I remember reading these articles and I'm like, okay, I love Johnny Moe. Like he will be just like Derek Lowe, like I told you from what he did in 2004. We'll never have to buy a beer ever again in Boston. Period. Doesn't have to. John Lester's in that same category, but it was like, I know he's getting older. I know he's not your 1 or 2 pitcher, and that Chicago really wanted to do it. And I'm like, that's too much pressure. Yep. And to go to your point, that means it's not going to work, and therefore your hitters have to get out way ahead. Right. And you never want that. It's great when your team goes out there and knocks in 5 runs in the first inning.
But what's funny right now is they got David Ross at the helm, and they just came out with their rotation yesterday. They announced their rotation, and Les, you just almost had me call him Molester. Oh my God!
Yeah.
So Lester is real good friends with David Ross. He loved David Ross. It was his personal catcher, with the Cubs. And Lester's the 4.
Yeah,
he's number 4 in the rotation, and that's behind Tyler Chatwood.
Yeah. And they want in just a year or 2 ago, they wanted him to be that number 2 guy. You just can't.
I don't like Lester. I don't like Lester going up against your 1. I don't care for him going up against your 2, but I'm okay with him going up against your number 4.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's where
it's a really good move by Rossi. I'm not sure about ahead of Tyler Chatwood. I wish we had somebody better there. I like the Alec Mills kid that they have at the 5 slot. But Lester, it surprised me that Lester was at 4. I thought he was going to be there at 3, but maybe they want to, maybe.
I don't think it's at 4, and he can step up.
They want to put him in a natural rotation, and when Quintana comes back, I think they'll submit Quintana in for Chatwood, so Quintana will take over the 3 slot, and that way Lester will still be on rest, and he doesn't have to switch from 3 to 4 and mess up his rotation.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Thanks to Mark Dowling, by the way, telling us good job. Appreciate it, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, thank you. Appreciate it. We always like the feedback. We like the words. If you guys want to hear us talk about anything, feel free. Put it up there. We will certainly get to it. The next thing I kind of want to get to, it's a perfect segue here.
Right before the segue, do you want to, while we're talking about, hey, they can comment and everything and how we're talking about we're testing this, do you want to kind of let them know what the focus of why we've got this on tonight?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So tonight we went live. We're testing it. Good things happening here at Triple Shot Sports, the RTF Sports Network.
Yeah,
they've Michael Buckheister, Sal Peasy, Dylan Moran. They've done a wonderful job over there, and they've asked us to take on a little bit more time, do a little bit more of our show. They seem to like it, and I couldn't be more excited about it. And,
now they put us on video, though. They're going to look at our faces and be like, shit.
I don't know. No, I mean, so they asked us to go, so we're going to be on RTF Sports Network starting August 2nd. We'll be live on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will be live on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And then our taped audio will go and will play on the website on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We were on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. We're moving to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, enjoy us on your ride home. Give us a listen. Let us know how we're doing.
If you're riding home, if you're still at home, due to COVID, just listen to us all day long. Listen to the whole RTF network. So
absolutely. The other thing I wanted to get to is I did promise for our live listeners that we were going to have a giveaway today.
Ooh.
So I'm going to have a series of clues. Okay, and in these series of clues,
is this like Blue's Clues? Like
there will be no on it. I should have got a baseball thing to jump across the screen or something. But there will be no blue pause or anything like that. But there will be a set of clues, and the first person to answer it who does not work for the RTF Sports Network, so sorry, Wayne, you're out. I would have told you were wrong even if you were right anyway. And family members as well, so sorry, boys, you guys are out too. But I'll give a series of clues here, and the first person to give me the correct answer through messaging or through the comment stream, preferably through the comment stream, will win a autographed Yankees batting helmet. It is autographed by Ronald Torreyes. I know.
That's a cool item. That's a cool item.
It's one of those things where it's opening night. The Yankees are playing. There might be a Yankees fan on here. I know a couple of them who may be watching the feeds, and they may want to get in on this. If you choose that you do not want the Yankees batting helmet, you can also choose a $25 Visa gift card, which Chad will be paying for. So
for YouTube TV, man. What the
hell? So you could choose the $25 Visa gift card as well if you want. So the first clue here is baseball.
Well,
that's the first clue. So you know what that means? If you want to get the answer, you're going to have to keep listening to us for a little bit.
What is the worst ranking ever given to a player at number 9 ever on any list? That would be Ted Williams by Brandon Combs.
Listen.
Do I win? Do I win?
No.
I win?
You want to talk about worst rankings ever. All right. I just gave Michael Buckheister a whole lot of credit, and now I'm going to give him a whole lot of shit. So
I'm just going to let you go.
Michael Buckheister came with a list of his top running backs for the Mike and Mike Man Hour heading into the 2020 season. And at number 7,
jeez, I've got to mute my mic or I'm going to say something terrible.
At number 7, this guy came out with Derrick Henry.
Not even top 5.
Look, no, I read the list afterwards and I went, you know what? If you didn't have him at 1, fine, I'm okay with that because Zeke is definitely the clear number 1.
He is.
You don't have him at number 2 or 3. We could argue about that. But you had him at 7. And not only did you have him at 7, you had Le'Veon Bell and Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, that's the one. Miles Sanders? Why? What the hell is your reasoning for Miles Sanders, Mike?
Miles Sanders.
Why isn't he on here? He needs to. What the hell is he even doing in the top 10?
Look, you know what's? I was arguing with him on Facebook about this afterwards because we started talking on the post and I started arguing with him and we went back and forth And his whole reasoning for why Miles Sanders and all these guys and why he's got Derrick Henry down at 7 is because Derrick Henry only had a good stretch of games. He wasn't a consistently good back. He had 1,500 yards.
He gave me some stupid ass answer about one game. He had a bad game. That was it. Miles Sanders had 12 bad games. What the heck? Le'Veon Bell had one bad season. How about that?
Miles Sanders had, I think it was 789 yards. It wasn't even 800. So he's averaging 50. Even if he was consistent all the way across the board, he's only getting 50 yards a game. And you have him ranked not one, not two, but 3 spots ahead of Derrick Henry. You're out of your mind. I said this on last week's podcast, and we talked about this, and you really liked the analogy there, Chad.
Yeah, we're both wrong, by the way. 808 yards for 4 points yard per attempt average for a whole whopping 3 touchdowns, all 16 games. But I guess because he only averaged technically 9 games, so I guess somehow that makes him so much better than Derrick Henry. It's bullshit.
Look, he's out of his mind. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. And you came at me with –
I want to play him in fantasy football at least.
Yeah. You came at me with the Jameis Winston take, and I'll tell you right now, I can make a hell of a better argument for Jameis Winston in the top 10 than you can for Derrick Henry at number 7.
I would love to see you both try to debate both of those because they were both asinine and terrible reads by you both. It was horrible.
Chad, I want to ask you one question. One question about Jameis Winston. How many quarterbacks in the league last year threw – and don't give me another question on top of it. Answer the question first. How many quarterbacks threw for 5,000 yards and 30-plus touchdowns?
No.
No.
I'm not giving you another question. He did because he was constantly throwing. I told you, if your opposing team comes in and scores a touchdown, and then you come in, hike, I'm going to throw it to the other team you're down 14-0. Of course you're going to keep throwing the ball. This is 2019. It's not 1985. You're not going to line up in the I formation and go, that's okay. We're going to go and try to, slam it right up the middle. We'll catch up some. That's not how the game is played anymore. Of course he had a ton of yards. He's a good quarterback, but he's not a top 10 quarterback. He was top 10 quarterback. Carolina, who played him and saw him and was a worse team record-wise, would have looked at him and went, there's our opportunity to get better. Instead, they went with the guy who has had injury problems and started 5 whole games last year. They trusted in his 5 games and what they saw over. And you want to know why? And I wish I'd brought this up with Teddy. Teddy, because you want to just talk about stats. Teddy didn't have in those 5 games anywhere close to the stats Jameis Winston did, correct?
Yeah.
Right? But you know what he had? He had the smarts. He had the intelligence to know how to win games. He knew when to throw the ball away. He knew when to throw it in the ground. He knew when to run out of the pocket and make something out of it. And he knew when to run out of the pocket and throw it out of bounds. He didn't make the critical mistakes. You can't make critical mistakes and be called a great quarterback just because you can throw the ball all the way down the field. It's not.
I got you. I get what you're saying. I get the argument against it, but I still stick by it. He's a top 10 quarterback.
Hey, Jared. It's Jared right there. Big Sox fan right there.
Jared.
If you get to know, if you come on Sports Soup, you get to know Jared. He has his own podcast as well. It's Drinking with Jared or something around that. And yeah, he loves to drink and he loves to do podcasts. So I almost feel like
No. Look.
Jared needs to come on this first.
Miles Sanders can lick a cow dick. Well, hey,
comment of the. Can we?
Look, Miles Sanders that can lick a cow dick, or is it Michael Buckhiser for putting him at the number 4 best running back in football?
I don't know if Jared knows Michael, but I think just by association.
I mean, look. You can say all you want about Derrick Henry. Sure, okay, he only had 10 or 9 good games. Great. He still had 1,500 yards. He still had 12 touchdowns.
Mm.
He was still the best running back in football last year behind Ezekiel Elliott.
He was still tossing guys around, stiff-arming them in their back. They weren't even facing him.
And if you're telling me that you would rather have Miles Sanders than to have Derrick Henry, or you'd rather have Miles Sanders than any of these guys, look, I want you to go be the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, because I would love for them to suck forever.
I put it up to the Bill test when I look at these things, because Bill, as you know, loved the Kevin Falks, the check down guys, all the guys, real quick, the those type of guys, but he knew when he had a chance for the Corey Dillon type of runners that he would go get them. And I know I would die if Bill Belichick would ever take Miles Sanders over Henry. Like it would blow my mind. And so if Bill, even with his check down system with his running backs and everything, if he's going to go with Henry, which I know he would, because he knew, kind of like LeGarrette Blount style, and obviously Blunt's nowhere near compared to Henry, but just going to how can you not go with a guy that can literally burst through a brick wall and carry that 99-yard touchdown run should completely wipe away that stupid one game that he brought up. Like that, you can't do one game and make it a system. For voting, you can do 16 games of 30 picks with 16 pick sixes and make that a reason. Not one.
Yeah,
one game.
Look, I just texted Michael too to see what he was doing, and he's not on the show right now because he's actually live on his show right now. He's like, he says, "Why? What's up?" I said, "We're roasting you."
And we've got a fan commenting just about how bad it is. We're not just roasting you. We're making sure you understand that your pick can lick a cow's dick.
Yes, absolutely. Here's my son's coming with the heat tonight.
Oh man, here we go.
Look, I was not angry that they decided not to go with Redskins anymore. I understand that it's a derogatory term. I get it. And I'm not here to, if you're offended by it, I get it. I understand you were offended by Redskins for whatever reason. It is what it is. If the Native Americans were offended by it, it should have absolutely been taken away. I 100% agree. But you can't even come up with a team name. I mean, just any team name? Like, I mean, seriously, anything. You're just going to be the Washington football team. And I saw a comment earlier on Facebook on a separate page, and we lost him here. So I saw a comment here on a separate page, and it had said something like it would have been a better team name if they had been the Washington team whose vocational hobbies include football. That to me would have been a little bit more. I don't look. Washington football team. The organization was already a joke.
They've stated that this is almost like a part-time, like a step-in name. So, quote unquote, they're still going through it. Which there's a lot of people that were close to the situation that said that, even though a lot of people think that they did the right thing, they went too fast, because this takes a long time. You don't just strip a name off and put it on, let alone our hero that we mentioned in our last podcast, who's out there trademarking all the names, right? doing his thing, and he's going to still end up getting paid. But the thing is that this takes a long time in a process, and you should have. And again, it wasn't because they wanted to get through the process. They just wanted. They were told by 3 major companies, "You're not getting any money." Oh shit! I can't have my money go away. Done. But I commented on Sports Soup today. We have a great guy that's an admin, Zachariah McIntyre, and big Redskins fan, and he'll rib on them just because he's like, I mean, they're my team and I love them, but come on, and it's going to be a mouthful.
I didn't even think about that. If she's still doing that, if she's still doing that this season, that is going to be a tough one.
I think she is.
That's going to be like that. You know how when you go to a family member's birthday party and they've got like an either oddly long name or oddly short name, and you're saying happy birthday, and you're like, happy birthday, dear. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, I told Zachariah, I said, now you guys as fans can just be like, when you watch sports movies and you have the extras come in, and they don't say the name of the team, but they're in the background and they're going, yeah, go team. They're just saying go team. That's it. That's all your fans are going to now say. You literally don't even have what is considered a real team anymore. You have a Hollywood sports team made up that you guys get to sit around and go team. So
let's face it, though, did Dan Snyder have a team anyway? I mean, were they a real team before this? I said
maybe.
When they got rid of Redskins and they said they were getting rid of Redskins and they weren't sure what the team name was going to be, I said this on our podcast. I said, we, as a team, I'm more offended by the way that they've been run as an organization than I am by the term Redskins.
Right.
And so this is kind of a fitting name, albeit a stupid one. It's kind of a fitting name because that's who they are. They're the Washington football team. They're that team who everybody looks at and hopes that they have them on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a tough team. They're not a good run organization. They're not a well-coached team. Although that might change this year with new head coaching and new staff and all that.
If he doesn't have a heart attack first, I mean, he can't even concentrate on coaching right now. He came in to change the culture and say he's got to worry about all the other aspects of culture, including name changes and all these other things and the sexual thing, everything. He's got to come in and deal with that stuff that he didn't even sign up for. And everyone's looking at him, and he's like, hey, we're working on it. I look at that guy, and I know that he's saying all the right things because he seems like a good guy and a good coach. He did great stuff in Carolina for the players, the fans, the community. That's what they got him for. That might have been Dan Snyder's only good hire ever, but it's about to walk right out the door because the first time he gets a chest pain around the shoulder or he has to do one of these right here, he is leaving. Like, this is not going to be good for his health or good for his career if he can't. You've got a quarterback who kind of had a weird rookie season aspect, but there are still a lot of people that think he has a lot of great potential. He was supposed to be able to work with him like he worked with Cam Newton. I doubt he's been able to work anything with him at all because he's into PR crap constantly. That's not good. That's not what he's doing.
And he's not going to deal with it any differently in Washington. Leonard, what's going on, buddy? Offended by that Cubs logo on your shirt? Says the guy with the LSU tiger in his freaking picture.
I was hoping that with that there'd be another comment that Tim would just say "Go Cardinals" just to piss you off.
Oh my God.
He would go on there.
You with that Cardinals stuff, man. Now your mic's muted. How you like them apples?
I can go back to this thing if I have to.
Tim, I appreciate it. I appreciate you listening. Sorry that you're offended by the logo, but you won't be offended when we beat the crap out of the Braves in the playoffs. Oh, maybe you will be. I won't be, though. And Alan's really searching for that $50 you promised him.
There it is. Look at that.
You just did it again. He goes again.
Go Cardinals, go with the hard side.
Yeah. Look, I'm telling you right now.
What was your okay? Let's go into this. I want to know though because you shit on them so hard you could not believe like where I kind of like put them in some way, shape, or form with things, and that I picked them. What was your excuse last year for them? You even said you were like, "Whoa, they just got lucky at the right time." No, you don't just always just get lucky
down
year
in that division.
It was a down year in that division. So that's why they were the best of the rest? Is that your excuse?
They won the division with 90 wins.
So they were the best of the rest?
Yeah, the Brewers and the Cubs in that division they couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't find a way to do it in September. It's just how it went. It was a down year in the division.
And who's the team that tends to play them most often?
The American
their own division.
The American League East gave both of those team fits, and the Cardinals. The Cardinals got lucky to have the Braves. I believe they had them twice in St. Louis, and the Cubs had to go to Atlanta twice, I believe, as opposed to sometimes you get the out of division where it's instead of 1-1, you got to go twice.
Yeah.
So a lot of things played into it. Look, the Cardinals won the division. It is what it is.
Holy shit! I can't believe you actually admitted it. This is like conspiracy theory stuff.
I mean, fuck them, but they won. They won the division, and. Yeah.
By the way, we got baseball back on. I've had it kind of go in the back of my
Dodgers,
but Dodgers, San Francisco is going.
And Tim says the only way you're making it to the playoffs because of look, Tim. I don't know if you listened to the podcast a couple weeks ago, but we did our MLB picks. I have Tim's a Braves fan. For those of you who don't know, I'll put his comment back up there. For those of you who don't know, Tim's a Braves fan, and the guy, we go back and forth a lot. We go on a lot of the same sports memorabilia pages and stuff like that. So that's how I know Tim. And the Braves I have winning the East, and the Cubs are an American League team playing in the National League. They've got the lineup to hit with the DH, and that's the only reason I picked them this year. And the other only reason I picked them is because it's a sprint, because it's not a 162-game season, because it's a condensed season, and all you're doing is you're going out every day, and you don't have time to think. You don't have time to look at the standings. You don't have time for this. You don't have time for that. You're going out there every day, and you're playing for 60 days, and I believe it's 72 days or something like that. So 60 games in 72 days, and you're running out there, and all you're doing is it's a playoff push.
It's the best point that I think that you made in everything. When you would go into your and holy cow, Pablo Sandoval is up to bat. Man, that guy, he's got to lay off the little snacks. Shit,
Kung Fu Panda.
God. Anyways, I mean, it's the best point that you made. They're an American League team playing in the National League, and with how things are set up right now, it benefits them. It really does. It's the best point that you made. I think it's actually good. I've said I wouldn't be shocked if they went all the way, but I think at least you got to give Tim the credit. As he said, they're making the playoffs because the playoff record was 10. They're still, according to him, they're still going to get the 7th seed. I mean, that's still something then, at least. He's kind of giving you a little bit of respect there.
Look, it's easy to talk when your team's like you're a fan of the Braves. You're a fan of if you're a fan of the Marlins and coming at me, I could spit at you all day. Your team's going to be good this year, Tim. The Braves are going to be good.
Tim, your team's going to win the World Series.
If you listen to it, Chad actually picked the Braves to win the World Series this year. He's got them beating the Twins in 6, I believe he said.
Yep.
So I think that would be a great World Series. I told you that way. I think it would be a.
Do you want to let everyone know what your pick was for the World Series? What was your pick for the World Series? You're chuckling, because just so everyone knows, Brandon aspires to be a WWE writer.
Story. You want to talk about? You think I'm a WWE writer, and you think I have it just because it's Joe Madden and just because it's the Cubs, and it would be a great story. You have to admit that.
Oh no, it would be a great storyline. WWE writers do,
but I really feel like those two teams are built to win in a 60-game season. If it was a 162-game season, I would not have the Cubs winning the division, and I would not have them going to the World Series. I don't even know if I'd have them in the playoffs, to be honest.
Well,
I don't think that their pitching staff is built for a 162 game.
I think you still put them in the playoffs. I think you would. I don't know.
I might, because I do think that they're the second best team in the division. I think it's them and the Brewers, and I think the Cardinals are back. The Cardinals, they don't.
I just don't think you go from a team that you pick to win the World Series and then out of the playoffs as a whole.
Well, because a 60-game sprint is a whole lot different. It's a whole different game than ours too. So I don't know if I would have them in there. I'd actually I'd have to sit there and look at their 162-game schedule and tell you who are we playing in the American League, who are we playing in the this and that. Where are we playing against the? Are we playing against the Central? Are we getting the Royals and the or are we going out to the East and getting the Orioles and all these teams that? So I want to know who we're playing. I have to look at the schedule before I make picks, just like I did even with the 60-game schedule. I think that the NL Central and the AL Central really got a cakewalk as opposed to the East or the West. When you don't have to play your out-of-division games against the Padres of the world, the Dodgers of the world, the Braves, the Nationals, the Mets are even going to be good this year. I think you really dodged a bullet, because instead you get to play the Royals, you get to play the Reds, you get to play the Pirates, you get to play teams that, let's just face it, they're rebuilding, they're retooling anyways. The Reds have done a good job. The Reds are going to have a decent squad. I think they'll be in the mix next year. I don't think that they'll be in the mix in the 60-game sprint. But I don't know. I just Jared Bear.
I was about to say, but we were talking. I looked, and Mookie ran out there, got the second out, ran out right, and he does, Jared. That man, that
you know
jersey,
why he looks
that jersey. It's because it's the best looking jersey in baseball. Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it from the female's perspective, Brandon, of course, money makes all of us men look a hell of a lot nicer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd be. He looks sexy to me too. I mean, look, for $380 million, that's there's a lot of sexiness there.
Yep. No. What else did he say? Best jersey though.
The Panda is at COVID risk. Fuck that guy. He owes Boston money. No,
he doesn't. No, Jared, I have to disagree with you. He doesn't know Boston crap because it's what we talked about if you were on here earlier. It's just an aspect of the Boston leadership having to appease us fans because we're so bloodthirsty and we're so passionate and we're so loyal, but we're bloodthirsty, man. If we have when we have off seasons where other teams start signing people, the messaging boards, WEEI, and all these things, they start lighting up like crazy. Like, what the hell? What are the Red Sox leadership doing? What's going on? So you have to sign these guys just to appease the masses. So
we've got
to know Boston crap.
A little bit off track here. I keep forgetting that we're doing that giveaway still, so I'm going to go with your second and third clues here.
Ooh, all right. Back.
So your second clue, your first clue was baseball. Your second clue is Cubs and Red Sox. Second clue is Cubs and Red Sox. And your
I already know this.
Your third clue is ham. Ham. So you got baseball, Cubs and Red Sox, and ham. If you can tell me the player that I'm talking about, you'll win the prize.
I think I might know.
So
do I officially work? Or I can say it and get that thing so I can use it to light a fire in my living room.
You don't qualify. All right. So moving on, we were talking about a couple things in football. We talked about the Washington football team, whatever the fuck their name is. We talked about Michael Buckheister and his stupid take on who's here and who's there. And then I've got a lot of people arguing with me because of my pick with the Bears. Look, you call me a homer all you want, and I'm not going to deny it. I love my home teams.
Homer.
I love my home teams. I do. But if they're going to suck, I'll tell you that they're going to suck. I'm the first one to tell you that. Look,
do you think they're doing it? Here's my quick question to you. Do you think they're going to do it with Mitch all season, or do you think Big Dick comes in and he
I have the Bears at 11-5 this season, and here's why. Yes, I understand their record from last year, and but I also know that they were 12-4 2 years ago. They are a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. That defense is nasty. They've got a run game. They've got the weapons at wide receiver, and this year they're going to have a healthy line. Now they need a quarterback that can not turn over the ball. And Nick Foles is that quarterback. Nick Foles does not turn over the ball. He just doesn't. You can look at the numbers, and I'm right. He does a lot of things. He does not turn over the ball.
No, he does not. I love this. I'm trapping you right now, buddy. Because your whole read with Jameis Winston was that, would you take him or Nick Foles? And I said Big Dick Nick, and you said, no, I wouldn't do that. You're right. You need a quarterback that will do turnovers.
I will take any quarterback that can complete a pass. That's all the Bears need. Mitch Trubisky cost them at least 3 to 4 games last year.
Oh yeah.
Arm, and they were 8-8.
I watched him hit. I watched him not hit. I watched him throw guys running great routes, do a post pattern, beat that safety, and he overthrew them. But he didn't just overthrow them. He overthrew them they were hitting the front of the end zone, and the thing hit the back of the end zone. How do you throw it that hard, that far? Overthrowing wide receivers normally is it just goes over their hands. You just miss them because they do a stutter. So he was
sorry, Jared. That's not
10
the right
yards.
Answer, by the way, that's not the right answer, Jared.
Good try,
Buckner.
Good try, Jared.
Good thought. But again, those clues: baseball, Cubs and Red Sox, and ham.
And if we get off here soon and you don't know what it is, you can always comment on this thread, message either one of us directly. I would message Brandon. just because he's got the article. But if you're friends with me and you need to message me, I'll make sure I get it to him immediately. But definitely keep those guesses coming.
Absolutely. So not Billy Buckner, but look, I'm with the Bears. I think what's going to happen is they're going to start Trubisky because that's what the Bears do. That's what the organization is. There's no way Ryan Pace is going to back off of that now, and he's not going to let he's not going to let them not start Trubisky. He's going to put pressure on to start Trubisky. And what's going to happen is they're going to lose to Detroit in week 1, and then they're going to lose to the lowly Giants in week 2. And that's when Nick Foles is going to step in for Trubisky. They're going to say enough is enough, and Foles is going to come in. And their schedule isn't really that tough. They're out of – look, I went on to Wayne's show, and we talked about this, and they came at me with, well, look at their out-of-division schedule. And they're
I've been looking at all the schedules because I'm looking to literally game for game do our predictions to come up here on the NFL season. And I don't disagree with you, man. I don't think they're out of division schedules hard. I think the problem is you made the comment, and I agree with you. That is one of the hardest divisions internally to win. The Vikings, the Packers.
But you're going to
even the Lions will give you a shot.
You're going to have 4. You're going to be 3-3 there, going off of that division schedule. You're going to be 3-3. I never pick any team to sweep, and I never pick any. The Packers swept us last year. I think they scored a total of like 13 points in the 2 games.
Yeah, I had a bet sheet. And the last one I needed to have freaking win. I did 6 of them. I would have won a ton of money. Was the Packers beating the Bears. They were like a 10.5 point spread. I'm like, that is easy with how the Bears are playing. They only beat them by 6 points, something like that.
So that's where I go and I look at the out of division schedule, and they're going to lose the games that they should lose. They're going to lose to the New Orleans Saints. They're going to lose to I can't remember who else they're playing. They're playing the NFC South. So I had them losing a couple. They're going to beat the Titans. I think they're going to sneak in and beat the Titans. I think they're going to.
Where are they playing the Titans? Is it in Tennessee?
I believe it's in Chicago. I have them losing to Tampa Bay, which is a game here in Chicago. I have them beating Carolina. I have them, So I have them at 11-5. I went game by game, and I said, look, this is a game I think they could win. There are games they could certainly lose by every stretch of the imagination, but I don't think they're going to lose those close games like they were under Mitch Trubisky, because I think Nick Foles is better at controlling the clock, and he's going to keep the defense off the field, which is something Mitch Trubisky could not do.
Yeah, that's true. So they got the Giants.
Yeah.
I think. Where do you think on that? It's at home. I think they can get that
against the Giants.
Against the Colts. The Giants and Colts.
Against the Colts, they're going to beat the Colts. Yeah.
They're going to beat the Colts. They got the Buccaneers at home. I think the Bucs are going to win that.
Yep.
Let's see. Bears and Panthers.
I think they're going to beat the Panthers.
You going to think they're going to beat the Panthers?
Yeah.
It's in Carolina.
Yeah. But they get
Teddy
Bridgewater is there now. They're going to be an improved team, but they're still not better than the Bears. The Bears defense, that loss of Kuechly is going to hurt them on the defensive side. And the Bears are just sound defensively.
They go to L.A. I think they'll beat the Rams there. Yeah. They go against Tennessee in Tennessee, man. I think that's where I got to disagree with you there.
That's where Derrick Henry versus that Bears defense.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose to them.
I think that's going to be a close game. I think that they'll squeak it out. I think that I trust Nick Foles more than I trust, what the heck's his name there out of who's their quarterback there in Tennessee they just signed?
Tannehill.
Yeah, Tannehill. I trust Foles more than I trust Tannehill, and I don't know. That's one that could go either way for sure.
You guys, if you're getting close, let's say you're accurate in what they're doing, though. But with that division, how it's always close, you have a serious trap game, and I'm not trying to joke with you here. I'm being serious. I know part of it is my fandom of the guy, but I think he showed some stuff, and it's a trap game because you've got Week 16 with Week 17 going up against the Packers to end the season, which is going to be a huge focus. On 12/27, Week 16, the Bears go to Jacksonville and play the Jaguars with Gardner Minshew. Again, not because I think Gardner Minshew and that Jaguars team gives you something explosive to worry about, but if you're within a game or you're tied or anything like that in the division and Week 17 is against the Bears at home in Chicago, that might trap them. That might be a scary game for them.
Yeah, there's always those concerns of trap games. When I think of the thing I keep going back to with the Bears is that defense, man. That defense can shut down these subpar.
Keep thinking the Bears will beat the Titans, Tim.
The Bears are going to beat the Titans. And I got your boy.
I agree with you, Tim.
Trying to bet me money.
Look at that.
$25. They don't beat the Colts.
You're betting me? I'm not betting anything with the Bears here. I tried to. No, Jared. I won't. This is his team, so you can bring that up.
I'll take that bet.
Ooh, and we have video proof. We don't even need to do the sports soup. Make sure people are seeing it and everything. $25.
Jared, you're on.
$25 that on what was that? That was the Colts. I think that's you're probably gonna have Big Dick Nick in it based on what you're saying, because it's week 4 in Chicago, October 4th. So there we go, right there. We'll be watching that, looking for that big bet. There you go, Jared. $25.
And then my son, the ultimate home. You call me a homer. This kid, he still thinks the Patriots are going to be in the playoffs, let alone the AFC Championship game.
They are going to be in the playoffs.
Who do you think will win, the Patriots or the Chiefs? The Chiefs. Look,
Chiefs.
The Chiefs are the best team in the AFC.
They're a D Ford offsides away from being back-to-back Super Bowl champions.
They're also a Patrick Mahomes injury away from never making the playoffs ever again.
It's true, but that's the same thing with Lamar Jackson in that aspect.
Yeah, it was the same with any team with a franchise quarterback.
But the difference is, what was crazy is that Mahomes had that injury, and everyone knew it, including him, and then they called that stupid quarterback sneak. And remember the look on his face when he looked to the sideline? Like, he did it because the coach called it, and that was the play. That was the dumbest play. That's one of the few times I looked at Andy Reid and been like, what the frig was he thinking? Like, that was dumb. It straight was dumb. So I think, hopefully, because the kid's electrifying, you want to see him just have an amazing career, and now he signed that contract and be someone that gets that 10-year success. But, I hope they keep him safe and not hurt. But I think Lamar Jackson is going to get, if anyone gets hurt, I think he is first. He's so electric. But these players watch tape.
Tim, okay. So I had this argument too. You need to stop thinking about Henry. There are more weapons scoring the playoffs on offense than just Henry.
But he's the best weapon.
Focusing on Henry while Brown, Smith, and Davis are scoring. Look,
but he's the best weapon.
Yes, and in the playoffs last year, he ran for 447 yards in 3 games. The guy is the beast, and he's the weapon. If you shut him down, you shut down Tennessee. And you're going to tell me that a Bears team that can shut down the run, and any one of those wide receivers that you mentioned, Henry, Brown, and Smith, the Bears have a defensive back that will keep up with all of them. Every single one of them. The
reason, and not even just on comparing to how they line up against the Bears, the reason why I think Tannehill came in and had such success and Mariota was having a challenge literally comes down to because how important Henry is. When you use him for what he is, which is a power rusher, but he can still have the speed to quickly kind of get outside if you need to. Your quarterback needs to be a pocket quarterback. It sounds so weird to say, but you need to be able to do the play action pass. And to what you're saying, Brandon, when you run that much, Tannehill doesn't have to be an MVP. He just needs to make the throws when the play action gives him the opportunity, or everyone's so afraid to crowd in the box for Henry that he just goes back, 3-step drop, and hits that guy in the slant. That's all he needs to do. Mariota's not that guy. He wants to pick it up. He wants to eye the whole field and go east to west. Tannehill's just coming back. Quick read all the way through, know which one's your best one, you throw it to the guy that's open because Henry is the weapon, and Mariota wasn't using that to his benefit. And that's why he's so good in that aspect. So, yes, you're right. All those other weapons, I agree with you. I picked Tennessee to beat New England, and I was pissed when it happened. I picked them to beat Baltimore. I said that they would give Kansas City fits. I think that is a fantastic team top to bottom. They are really good, but Henry is the weapon. If Henry does not do well, the rest of the team does not function as well, in my opinion.
Honest to God, just finished a beer, so I'm sober for a minute. Titans will
barely, Jared,
from all the playoff teams. Ryan fucking Tannehill is going to join Miles Sanders out to pasture. Amen, Jared. Amen, Jared. And you know who else is going out to pasture? The Colts when you give me your $25.
No, I can't even try to back you up, Jared, my love for Andrew Luck, and He's not there, so I'm just whatever.
They did go out and they got your boy out of San Diego there. God, I can't think of names tonight. Rivers.
It's not just because I have 612 kids and he's the only man on earth that's beating me. That doesn't make him my boy, which was a terrible move, by the way, for LA. They took 2/3 of their fan base, which were his kids, and left. So that was a terrible move for LA, by the way. No. He's the thing with Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers is always going to be that dynamic with the Jameis. Oh man, holy cow! Jameis Winston's a good quarterback. He will never be great. The same way Philip Rivers is a good quarterback, but he will never be great because he can throw. He's electric when he needs to be. He comes up with some great highlight reel items when it's necessary, but he doesn't think through the processes enough to make sure that he's always going forward to win. And that's the same thing. Philip Rivers.
Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Hey, Eddie. Eddie likes
reminding us that it was Rivers when we couldn't think of the name.
It's my boy Eddie. My boy Eddie and I, just to obviously continue to share stories of my friends. We found, by the way, Eddie, I went to San Antonio. We used to work at GameStop together, and we'd go to managers' meetings, and I would get a little bit drunk and pretend that everyone else was getting more drunk than me. But we found this place that had, like, this bread. We have pictures so big and glorious. We just ate like 3 loaves of it before anything else, and they shut that restaurant down. I was so pissed. So we have that connection. With that said, I don't know why he's just saying Rivers.
Jared, I hate the Colts, but I'm a Vikings fan, so need the Bears to lose. But seriously, Colts great offensive line, solid D, and Phil Daddy Daycare Rivers under center. Look, they do got a good O-line. They've got an all right defense. Philip Rivers, but who's he throwing to? I don't know. They've got no run game.
Depends on how healthy T.Y. T.Y. is electrifying when he's not dealing with an injury.
Look, if they play for Miles Sanders, then I'll take the Colts over him.
Did you see, speaking of the Colts, what was the kid there that they drafted? Man, could you look more unexcited?
Acknowledge what I said there.
What?
I said if they trade for Miles Sanders, I'll say the Colts are going to
win. Jeez. God. No, the Colts are just always that team that even when they were good, even with Peyton Manning, even with how explosive they were, and they got to the Super Bowl, all that stuff, it's just, they just, it doesn't seem to work out. It doesn't seem to find a way. And I think they went and got a guy in Philip Rivers that's the guy. Like,
right.
Yeah, you can win some games, but you're probably not going to really fully get all the way through. He just puts it up.
Let's go out and throw another clue out there. Another clue. So we had baseball. We had Cubs and Red Sox, and we had ham. All right? Cubs and Red Sox, baseball, and ham. The next clue is going to be 5. The next clue is 5. And if you're a baseball fan, you're going to get this one here on this clue. So if you want a chance at the prize, you're going to give me the right answer. We got baseball, Cubs, Red Sox, ham, and 5.
Yeah, I was wrong. I had thought I knew who it was, but my thought was 3.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't that. So
you're thinking I was saying Hambino.
Huh?
Are you thinking Hambino?
Nah, I was thinking Ross.
Oh.
Not Ross. I was trying not to say a name because I didn't want, if someone was going to guess it. So there you go, guys.
Michael Eddy. Congratulations.
Nomar!
You are a big winner. The answer was Nomar. If you want to go back to the clues, baseball, I have Nomar as the best shortstop I've ever watched play the game. I've never seen a better defensive shortstop. He's made a ton of errors, and I get that. People always come at me with, look how many errors he made. But he got the balls that no other player on the planet Earth would have ever gotten to, and he tried to make something happen.
Exactly.
So that's why
another guy die for it and make the throw to try to get that out at first and just let it go.
No, absolutely. And then, Cubs and Red Sox, obviously he played for both teams, got traded from the Red Sox to the Cubs when the Red Sox got that Orlando Cabrera, and then went on to win the World Series in 2004, break the curse. And they gave Nomar a ring too.
Oh yeah, they gave everyone that was on that roster from spring training on got a ring. So he got that ring,
and I was happy for that. Nomar definitely deserved a ring.
Yeah.
And then we had Ham. Obviously, he's married to
Mia. I thought it was Ross with like a snack that because he loved to have certain snacks. So I thought that might have been a snack that he liked.
Yeah.
And then you said 5, and I'm like, oh, duh, Mia. Yep. Ham. I knew it. Okay.
Yep. So the answer is good old Noma.
Hey, here's a question for you. What was Noma's dad's name?
No clue.
Take his name, flip it around.
Ramon?
That's where he got his name. Really? His dad's name flipped around.
I did not know that.
There's your little bit of trivia.
Yeah, now we get of course now you guys get the answer. We already gave it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now
Eddie, you get the answer.
Oh, boy, Eddie. All right, man.
All right, Michael Eddie, you are I hope you're not a Red Sox fan, but if you are, you're the proud owner.
Eddie, what are you doing with that right there? I mean, that's a nice piece of memorabilia, but what are you doing as a Sox fan with that? I want to see you comment.
Hey, look, it's a Ronald Torreyes is the signature on there. Journeyman minor leaguer. But it's still a cool piece of memorabilia to have. Even if you're not how much I hate those Cardinals, and I do hate those Cardinals.
You do?
But I have an autographed Lou Brock jersey that I'll probably frame and hang up. And
Lou Brock is one of those guys that it doesn't matter what the jersey that he wore. Yeah. It's like us Sox fans. Like if you gave me a Derek Jeter autographed jersey, that's getting hung up. Like
right. And he also started with the Cubs. A lot of people don't remember that. Lou Brock started with the Cubs, and then we traded him to the Cardinals and all that. So yeah, I like it. It's a cool piece of memorabilia, something to have. If you have a man cave, you can hang it up. Michael answered your question here.
Or the body.
So, Michael, if you don't want the Yankees helmet, I did say you could go ahead and choose a $25 Visa gift card. Just shoot me a private message and let me know which one you want to have, and we will go ahead and send whichever one your way.
Congrats, Eddie.
Either one. I did the giveaway the other day on the Facebook page, on the Triple Shot Sports Facebook page. And I just, instead of sending her the gift card, the lady who won, I just took a snapshot of the number and the back of the card, and that way she could use it on Amazon or whatever she wanted to.
You can get a nice toy for that awesome bulldog that you got there, Eddie.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, that'd be a nice little chew toy. You play tug of war with a Yankees helmet.
Yeah, there you go. Or you could do that. There you go. But because
he's on his water, bro, because he's gonna be pissing in that helmet.
The worst. Okay, I've got a story. This is how bad. So growing up in the New England area, there's a lot of Yankees fans just as much, right? Because obviously the Empire and it's so close, in relatively of location, blah blah blah. And we had one night we went out. I was living in this small city of Keene, New Hampshire, and we were just hitting the bars over and over. And we had this one guy. He was just being just an asshole as a Yankees fan. But we're like, he's drinking. We all started drinking though. Just kept going with it. And we got really, really pissed. And he fell outside of one of the bars, and his hat came off. And I went to toss it to him. And real quick, one of my buddies grabbed it and threw it to one of our other buddies. And I'm not saying names because I don't want anyone to get pissed off. Well, we're helping up this guy as a Yankees fan, but we're feeling bad. Like he fell down outside and everything we're doing. Comes back and he's like, "Oh, here's your hat, man." He's like, "Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it." Put it on. He's like, "Oh, it's wet." And we're like, "Yeah, you fell in a puddle." And he fell near a puddle. I thought maybe it fell in the puddle. Found out 2 days later. He's like, "Why does my hat smell like piss?" And they pissed in his Yankees hat and stuck it back on his head. But we got in a car with him and we hung out with him for 2 more hours. So it was just as much on us,
that's bogus,
as on him. But when people say Red Sox fans are a-holes, I usually fight it. But that was a night that they had every right to it because we were kind of a douchebag.
Tim, you got to come stronger than this, buddy. Did you hear the Bears will be the next team to change their name? After they lose to the Colts, the World Wildlife Federation will officially mark them endangered and protected. Wah, wah, wah. Look, okay.
The Colts an animal, though, too. So it's a real life, world.
Yeah.
Even though we all know bears are badass animals.
Look.
There, I came to your back somehow there, Brandon. I tried to make like real world animal fights.
If any team's going to end up changing their name, it's going to be your Braves. Yeah, how about that? How you like them apples? Oh, yeah, I can't do that anymore.
Calm down.
Yeah, can't do that anymore.
Don't get us kicked off. Eddie's never going to get his money. Gosh.
Yeah, that was another thing I said about Washington. I said they could just call themselves the Crimson Tide and let Alabama take over because they're probably a better run organization. A little bit more talent, too, right?
I have nothing to say. I was going to say, your talent level, you're probably right in terms of that. It blows me away. And even when they don't, I love how people get so pumped because
they've got higher
Alabama didn't get as many 4-star players and everything. It's like, that these 2- and 3-star players are going to be 4-star players in a year, right? You understand how they do this. Like, everyone's shocked. Like, where did they get all these great players? Because they're better run organization. They know how to make them superstars.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I can't keep going on the Washington football team because it's a dumpster fire. It's going to continue to be a dumpster fire until Dan Snyder is forced to give up his ownership, and I don't even know if they'll do that. But
I think they will. Well, it depends. We'll see what happens with this investigation, but I think. We said it about the owner there for the Clippers. I think at some point, they've got to look at this and go, okay, enough's enough. You've got to go. Can I?
Parrot, stop it. The chipper won't allow that. And Michael Eddie, can I donate the helmet to a Yankees fan? I would like to see it go to. You know what, Michael? That is
it's you, Eddie.
Look. Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I know a Yankee fan who might want it and would definitely like to have it. I would definitely send it to him. But send me your information anyway, Michael, because I will go and get you that $25 gift card too and send it to you for the good gesture. So we'll definitely do that. I'll donate the helmet and then I will get that gift card out to you. Just send me your information and we'll get that done. Justin Turner just barely missed a great diving stab over there.
Hey, did you see that play at second base? Are they worried about getting the corona? There's a lot of sweat and a lot of close touching. That's not social distancing.
Well, maybe if they had one of those NFL face masks with the holes in it.
Oh my God. Telling you, man, I'm just waiting for the first player to just put it on in the locker room, just be like, you guys understand they're holes, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. The Giants are starting to put it on them. Yeah,
2 on, top of the third, no out.
Base is loaded now.
Oh, is the base load?
Yeah.
YouTube TV's a little bit behind yours. You must have special Chicago streaming abilities or something.
All right. So back to baseball. I have Xfinity, and this is what drives me nuts. And I've heard that this has happened to Dodgers fans.
The Giants have bases loaded.
Yeah, and in LA, there's been like half of the city of Los Angeles that can't see Dodgers games because the Dodgers have their own network.
Yep.
And certain cable providers aren't carrying them.
Yep.
Because their contract dispute. And I'm in that position now as a Cubs fan. The Cubs just launched the Marquee Network back in January or February, one of the two. I think it was January. But they just launched the Marquee Network. And Xfinity's not carrying them, and that's who I have for a cable provider.
Yep.
So I can't actually see live Cubs games unless I purchase like Hulu or which I did, or something else that doesn't black out live games. I always have the MLB, extra innings package and all that stuff because I watch so much baseball, but they black out Cubs games, in local market. And that just drives me nuts. Like, how do you take away half of your fan base because you can't get it together with the cable company on a contract dispute?
It's the opposite.
To see the games.
It's the opposite. It's because they got more money elsewhere. That's just it. It's usually what ends up. I mean, welcome to my life as a Longhorn fan. Like Longhorn Network screwed the Big 12. But they don't give two craps. It's all about money, man. We've talked about
you're taking away from your own city, who I mean, that's what we do. If we're not, at Wrigley, we're at home watching the game, we're at a bar watching the game, we're wherever watching the game. And now you're forcing us to if we want to see it, we got to change cable provider, or we've got to pay extra for Hulu, or you got to do that. I mean, that's you can't. Not only are you charging, I looked up to surprise my son, and he's going to hear this story now because I wasn't thinking about it, but I was looking up to surprise him to go sit up in the rooftop seats this weekend before he heads back to New Hampshire, and they're $350 a piece.
Yeah,
it's gonna cost me $700 for 2 tickets.
Yeah,
like they're and now I can't even watch the game with them on TV unless I go and buy Hulu. What are you kidding me? That's insane.
It's all about those copyrights. It's money. Like it drives away the fans. But that's because it's just about anything else. You give it to the people.
Tell me that you can put your games on WGN like they did for years, and you could do it on Comcast Sportsnet, and you could do it on all these other channels. But why are you doing that to your, if you're going to have a network, you're going to be like, look, whatever you guys
switch to T-Mobile. There you go.
Well, I have T-Mobile, and we do get MLB TV, but they black out local markets. That's the problem where I'm at. I live in Chicago, so they'll black out Cubs and White Sox games. Actually, they black out
GPS location.
They black out Cardinals. No, it doesn't work. I've tried.
You got an iPhone or an Android?
iPhone.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. But
it is what it is. I mean, I went and got Hulu. I'm going to pay for it regardless. I'm going to pay to watch the Cubs. I'm one of those guys that I'm going to.
But see what you just said? I'm going to pay for it regardless. So you're saying they shut out 50% of the market. And I'm not saying I'm for this, but this is their thought. We'll shut out 50% of the market because we're going to get money for exclusive rights to this. The other 50%, if you want to pay for it, you can still watch it, but you got to pay for it. Now, the diehards of that 20, 25%, they're going to pay for it, and then they're going to even get up more money. And that 25 to 30% that is now blacked out, they don't care because they ended up getting more money. Money drives the world, unfortunately. It sucks, man. It sucks.
No, Jared, you're right. Jared says the individual network just paid Mookie a $65 million tax-free bonus. It's smart business to go with it. You're right. It is. It's very smart business. But I feel like you're losing more money by not allowing cable subscribers to be able to view your network because of a contract dispute or whatever the case is, because somebody else bought the rights or whatever. That's fine.
You hurt the future of your fan base if you do something like this and just suck the ball for years on years on years. But if they win, but if they do it and they win and they keep winning, what happens is people at some point are like, I mean, I just want to watch this. I will find a way. I'll work a second job. I'll cut this out. I'll find a way to pay for it because I'm sick of missing this, because not only do I love this team, but now they're doing well. So it's a chance, because then if your team just flatlines and they suck, or like what you get with Under Armour when they signed the exclusive deal with UCLA, now Under Armour's turning around just a couple of years into it, and they're like, we want out because you guys suck. This didn't work for us. That's the chance that that you're taking with it. But most of these cable companies, they'll find a way. They'll find a way to do it. And when you get more money going to the team, like in baseball, where the salary cap's not the issue, they can turn around and give it to the players, which in turn should make you do better. And therefore, it's just a revolving circle. So
I agree. It just sucks for the fan. And the Blackhawks did that for years. The Blackhawks, they would not televise. So before Rocky Wirtz, who owns the team now, his dad Bill Wirtz owned the team, and when he owned the team, he wouldn't televise home games in Chicago. He would only televise road games, because if he felt like if they were in Chicago, you should be at the stadium.
Yep.
And so me being young and being a hockey fan, I grew up as a Devils fan. I grew up watching, because I was watching, ESPN to watch hockey, and I was watching and the Devils were really good in the 90s. They were playing the Rangers. They were going to Stanley Cups, Martin Brodeur, and I mean, they had a really good team. And so as a kid, I didn't even know Chicago had a team until I was about 17.
Yeah.
And that, I mean,
the original six. That's how bad. That's what I'm saying. That's the chance you take if you suck. That's why I think when you do it for things like baseball or in football, even though the Longhorns are just, God, they're stressing me out. But because you're not dealing with salary caps, because you're not paying the players, you can take those chances a little bit more. Where you can't do it is, I think, something like football. I don't think it would work if you blocked it out in certain ways, and that's why they just try to do the NFL pass or whatever the case may be, because most people just want to watch football. I'll watch any freaking football game. I don't care.
Cody, T-Mobile isn't working for me, so I'm here watching you guys. Someone shoot me. I'm not sure how to take that, Cody.
YouTube TV, man. YouTube TV. It sucks to pay, but it's worth it, man. What's great about YouTube TV is if you don't have an iPhone, you have an Android, you can change GPS location and you can get any home game in any market that you want. That's how I watch all my Boston sports teams down here in Oklahoma City. So just a little hint for you. Now YouTube's going to hear about that and they're going to shut that shit down. So
yeah, probably.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, way to go. Everybody. Yeah. But no, it's been fun tonight. I'm gonna start wrapping it up here. Going on 2 hours now. It doesn't even feel like I could do this shit all night long, man. I could just talk sports all night.
My daughter is about 3 feet away, giving me the death glare. So we probably should get rid of
that. Yeah. But we had baseball tonight. It looks like the Nats and Yankees are gonna end up getting postponed or finishing in an early game. I can't remember what inning it was in.
Yeah, I'm going to check that real quick.
Yeah, we have the Dodgers and the Giants right now, bottom third, 1-0. Baseball's back, man. I am pumped. Cubs play tomorrow. I cannot wait. I will certainly be in front of the TV for that, so I'm glad that we are recording tonight as opposed to tomorrow. And, I'll be in front of my TV. I'll have it on all day long. Opening day, even while I'm at work. I work from home, so I'll have baseball on the TV all day long tomorrow. I am excited. It's a little surreal with no fans in the stands. I was watching the Yankees Nats doing the lineup introductions like it was opening day, and the players all standing on the baseline, and they're announcing their names, and you could just see them kind of chuckle a little bit because there's nobody there to cheer for them.
Yeah,
so they're getting their names announced for what? Like, but I get it. For TV value and all that other good stuff. But,
But the thing is, they're going to get in a groove. I think it's going to get to a point where it's going to be they get going, they're going to get playing, the challenges of the game and everything. They'll get going. It'll become more normal for them. But like we talked about in the last podcast, I don't want to see this for 162 games next season. But, I think this year it will be okay.
Jared,
we'll make it. We've got it.
Jared, don't we dare what? Dare. I don't know. Don't you dare? We can't leave? Is that what you're saying? You want more of us? I don't know.
Jared's going to be, hopefully, we've been trying to do a bunch of stuff to get him on the Sports Soup podcast, and so we're going to get going. Oh, yeah, that's right. 6th inning, game over Yankees. Yeah, it was top of the 6th. I was about to say that. So, a short season.
Going again. And then he follows up with this. Do I actually get 50? I told you, he's collecting.
I steal it from here. If we get into a fantasy football league through RTF, Allen, if you make it a point to talk about Go Cardinals and every single live viewing that we have that you can throughout the season, and I win money in any way in a fantasy league, I will give you $50. How's that sound?
Oh,
that means you got to do work and I got to do work. We both got to do work. But if we can do it, that's what we'll do.
Oh man. Yeah, he's going with the goal.
There we
go. All right, and Eddie,
your kids turning against you, man.
You can message me on the Triple Shot Sports page and send me your info, or you can send it to my Facebook page. You can just friend request me. I'll accept you, Brandon Combs, and I'll get it to you. If not, I know Chad here probably has your maybe you could send it to Chad and he can send it over to me if that's easier for you.
Works for me. I also noticed, Eddie, your wife got on here and she commented something. So I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because you won something with the Yankees and it pissed her off. I don't know. But I just real quick, a Sarah Eddie comment came up.
Jared says, hell yeah. Jared wants more of us. I don't know.
No, we'll keep it going. We're back. I think this has worked out well. This was just a test, and we're going to keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. So